Welcome to our radio talk where we share a heartfelt story inspired by real life. My name is Ethan. This isn't just my story, it's ours. A story about love, about loss, and about holding on to every single moment when tomorrow isn't promised. I grew up without parents. Life took too much from me before I ever understood what family really meant. The woman I came to love had a past just like mine. She was an orphan too, abandoned by fate, far too young. Maybe that's why we recognized each other so easily, like two broken pieces that were always meant to fit together. We didn't meet in some perfect, romantic way. There were no fireworks, no love at first sight like in the movies. We crossed paths in the quiet grind of everyday life, both of us working long hours just to keep a roof over our heads and food on the table. I'll never forget the first time I saw her eyes. They were strong, but behind that strength was a loneliness I knew all too well. And somehow, she saw the same thing in me. From that moment on, we became each other's safe place. For 2 years, we built a life together. It wasn't glamorous. We rented a tiny apartment with peeling paint on the walls, a secondhand bed that squeaked every time we moved, and a scratched up old wooden table. But that little place felt like home because it was filled with laughter. Our laughter. We didn't have much. Some nights, dinner was nothing more than bread and soup. But we had each other. And when you've lived most of your life without love, even the smallest piece of it feels like a miracle. We made a promise, no matter how hard things got, we'd never let go. Till death do us part, we said. Not in a church, not in front of witnesses, but whispered in the quiet of the night. And we meant it. We dreamed of the future often. Nothing fancy. We didn't want mansions or luxury cars, just a small house, a little garden out back, maybe a dog running around. We dreamed of sitting at a table together, drinking tea as the sun went down. When it came to kids, we agreed to wait. Not because we didn't want them, but because we knew what it felt like to grow up with nothing. We didn't want to bring a child into the world until we could give them stability and love. Someday, she said with a smile, and I nodded. Someday. Life felt bearable, even hopeful, until everything changed. It started with exhaustion, aches that wouldn't go away, nights when sleep refused to come. I tried to ignore it, to push through like I always had. But the truth doesn't bend just because you want it to. After countless tests, the doctor finally said the words that shattered everything. Ethan, you have late-stage cancer. You may only have 30 days left. 30 days. Just 30. I looked at her when those words hit. Her eyes widened, her lips trembled. She didn't cry, at least not right then. She just held my hand so tightly, my fingers went numb. We left the hospital in silence, the weight of 30 days pressing down on us. That night, she finally broke. Not in front of me. She thought I was asleep, but I heard her quiet sobs by the window. She cried into her hands, into the darkness, until she had nothing left. Then she wiped her tears, came back to bed, and pressed her forehead against my back. In that moment, I wanted to tell her I was sorry for leaving too soon, for breaking the future we dreamed of. But I stayed silent. I knew what she needed wasn't my apology. What she needed was my strength. The next morning, I told her, if I only have 30 days left, then let's make them the best 30 days of our lives. Her tears came again, but this time she smiled through them and nodded. We made a list. Not some glamorous movie bucket list, but a simple one. Eat pancakes at the diner where we had our first date. Walk by the river at sunset. Look through old photos. Write letters to each other, even if we were sitting side by side. Buy matching sweaters and take a picture together. Small things, ordinary things, but they were ours. Day by day, we checked items off the list. And every day I fell in love with her all over again. We laughed harder than we ever had before, even as the pain in my body grew sharper. She held me when I couldn't stand, cooked for me when I couldn't eat, and sang softly when I couldn't sleep. Sometimes at night, I pretended to be asleep just so I could watch her. She'd sit by the window, bathed in moonlight, her shoulders trembling as she tried to keep herself together. My heart ached, not for me, but for her. She deserved more than a love story cut short. But even in those fragile moments, I understood something. She had chosen me. She chose to love me, knowing how fragile life could be. And that was everything. Time slipped away like sand through my fingers. Each day I grew weaker, and each day she grew stronger, carrying us both with her love. And though I knew the end was near, I wasn't afraid anymore, because she was there, because love was there. Then one night, the moon shone brighter than ever. It felt almost unreal, as if the universe had stopped just for us. We sat side by side under the silver glow, wrapped in silence, wrapped in each other. My head rested on her shoulder, and in that moment I felt peace, even though I knew tomorrow might never come. That night, the moon was brighter than I had ever seen it, casting silver light across the quiet world. The air felt still, as if the universe itself had paused to listen to the heartbeat of two souls who loved each other beyond measure. I sat beside her, my trembling hand clutching hers with all the strength I had left. My head rested gently on her shoulder, and I could hear her uneven breaths, the way her body shook with each silent tear. She didn't cry out loud. She just let the tears fall, one after another, soaking into my shirt. "Ethan," she whispered, her voice breaking, "I wish we had more time." I forced a smile, gathering the last of my strength to answer, "Our time isn't measured in days, it's measured in moments. And you should know, I've never regretted a single second of loving you." Her eyes glistened under the moonlight, filled with both pain and a fierce kind of devotion. I raised my weak hand to her cheek, wiping away her tears. Then our lips met in a kiss, slow, tender, and desperate all at once. A kiss that carried every word we couldn't say. I could taste the salt of her tears on my lips, a bittersweet reminder of how deeply we loved. When the kiss ended, I knew my strength was gone. With the last breath I could muster, I whispered, "I love you." My head slipped to her shoulder and I drifted into an eternal sleep. She didn't scream. She didn't collapse. She simply held me close, rocking me gently, her voice soft as if she were singing me to sleep. "Ethan, I haven't forgotten our promise. I'll never let you be alone." And then she smiled, a quiet, serene smile, full of both sorrow and courage. She had already made her choice. Earlier that night, she had taken a fatal dose of medicine, determined to follow me wherever I was going to keep the vow we once whispered, together, until the end. Under the silver moonlight, two young heads rested against each other, bound forever in one final embrace. No more pain, no more fear, only love, whole, eternal, and unbreakable. And if you're reading this now, I want to leave you with one message. Cherish what you have. Don't wait until it's gone to realize its worth. Love deeply, hold your dear ones tightly, Nesh, and never take a single moment for granted. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to the channel to hear more heartfelt stories like this one.